This is the Inquisitive Minds Podcast.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Inquisitive Minds Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Smith. With me today, we have a special guest. She is an actress, assistant director, and just about everything in between. She jumped into the film and entertainment industries about 2 years ago, and since then has worked on projects ranging from no-budget backyard indie films to Amazon and Netflix productions. She started Payne, Pennsylvania Entertainment Industry Network, right around the time she first came onto the scene, and she's always looking for new projects, connections, and ways to make independent entertainment more available to the general public. She's a huge advocate for equality and diversity, and her biggest goal for the time being is to see a more inclusive and accessible Pittsburgh. Now, here's where we get interesting, because as a practitioner of witchcraft and as someone with multiple mental illnesses, she fights to end prejudice in all its forms and promote tolerance and understanding. And I was also just informed this is her very first podcast appearance. Please welcome Marita Sarver.
Happy to be here.
How are you doing today, Marita?
Oh, living the dream.
Okay, living the dream. I take it you had some construction on the way in?
I did, yeah. I live an hour and a half from here, so I usually hit construction, but apparently they're working on every bridge within like 50 miles of Pittsburgh right
Every
now.
bridge.
So.
You got to hit them all at once. It's a, it's a group effort.
Well, of course, right?
So, you are an actress and in the general entertainment industry. Can you tell me a little more about that? What made you want to become an actress?
Well, so I've always been interested in acting from, the time I was a kid onward. When I was in high school, I actually thought that I might want to go to college for acting, and my grandpa put his foot down and he swore, you're going to college, you're going to be a lawyer, the way you like to argue. That's what,
Okay.
said. Well, I ended up going to college for psychology instead, but, I've dropped out of college like 3 times now, so I showed him, right?
Okay, you got him. That's how you get Grandpa. Drop out of college.
But so I saw a Facebook ad of all things in like a yard sale group. Somebody was looking for an actress for their short film, and this was like, I don't know, like 10 years after I left college and stuff. So it had been a while, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. I miss it. Why not? So
what was the name of that project?
It actually never got finished, or like filmed. Funding fell through.
Like so many independent art projects.
Yeah. So, but it was too late by then. I was already hooked. So I was like joining the groups and all that stuff by then. So it just kind of snowballed.
And that was about 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And you've done quite a bit in 2 years, it sounds like.
Yeah, I guess so. It's pretty overwhelming to me when I look back and think about it. So I went to my first mixer probably a month after.
Now let's circle back a little bit. When you say mixer, can you define that a little more for people that don't know?
So it was specifically a theater mixer, and it's just like a networking event where people get together and they exchange contact information. They just kind of see if there's a vibe there, if they connect with each other.
Okay.
They talk about their projects and what they're looking for, and they kind of just hook up for later.
Okay.
So I went to this one, and I met somebody there, and we were talking about how they're always so inconvenient and nobody can ever make it to all of them, and they're like, depending on the time of the day and where they're held and all that stuff, it's really hard to make it to them. So I thought, well, what if there was like a permanent kind of online mixer where you just, made a group, you joined, if you wanted to say hello, you did.
And that led into the birth of your baby.
It did.
And what is that called?
That is how Pittsburgh Entertainment Industry Networking was born.
And explain that a little bit more in detail for people, please.
So the idea behind it basically was that the independent industry in Pittsburgh specifically the entertainment industry.
And that falls under the umbrella of not just actors and singers, but also comedians and other performance artists of all type?
Yeah.
Okay.
So independent entertainment is basically anybody who performs in Pittsburgh who doesn't have like a company, shoving them out, telling them like, show up here, do this, do that.
We don't have representation. Just so everybody knows, I'm a member as well.
That's right.
So let's just keep going with that. But I want people to know that I'm informed of what's going on.
Yeah. Well, so basically, I wanted not just actors. I think that there's a huge overlap in all the entertainment industries. Like stand-up comedians make perfect comedic actors. You guys already have the like timing and everything you need. Yeah. So, that's perfect.
If anyone needs like a backwoods uncle, with like humor.
Well, they just shot a film not that long ago. It was set up in Johnstown that was basically about like backwoodsy stuff.
I was
like
talking
that.
to a friend of mine, and I would make a great prison inmate extra. I have done method acting.
Well, there you go, right? But yeah, so, there's just a lot of overlap there, and I thought it would be a really good place. And a lot of the other groups, too, they tell you, like, they're very strict about, you have to advertise only paid opportunities, and it can only be for this group, and, you can't ask questions in here. And I just think, like, there needs to be a place for people who are learning and who want to make connections to be able to reach out and talk to each other about what's going on.
I want to say, I think there's opportunities for people that are advertised but are unpaid are very important.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're willing to submit yourself and show your craft, show what you can do. I've had more opportunities come from things I've done for free than I've ever had from paid opportunities so far.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not sure about like most of the other, I guess, entertainment genres, you could call them. But for film anyway, when you're just starting out in film, you do a bunch of like unpaid roles and you get enough footage to put your reel together. And, basically you can put your reel together, 3 times faster than if you were only doing paid work.
I imagine that is a rough industry to be in and extremely competitive. I know stand-up, there's a little bit of competition, but there's more stages for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
In acting, it seems like there's so many instances where you're competing specifically for a certain role. It just seems like that would be such a cutthroat industry to be in.
Yeah, it can be. And I don't like that it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what Payne is about, is changing that perspective. Because when you audition for a part, either you're right for the role or you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're not really competing against the other actors. Really, you're competing for the director and the producer and whoever's casting you. So you can think of it as competing against all these other actors, but that just gets you down. Really, you just have to go in and give your best performance and hope that that's what that director wanted.
That's great advice.
So
that's great advice because that type of thinking can turn someone toxic.
Yeah.
You don't want that. So after you created Payne on Facebook, you started having mixers.
I did, yeah. Well, I underestimated how much Pittsburgh wanted an organization like Payne. So I added 9 people to the group when I made it. I looked away for an hour, and when I came back, there were 150.
Okay, that's quick growth.
Yeah. And then I thought, okay, well, people really are like out there sharing this. They're doing a lot, let's have a mixer. It is an online mixer and everything, but nothing is quite the same as in person. So
you've had a few in-person ones.
Yeah.
I actually was at the one you have a little meeting, where we can all at a bar have a drink and discuss each other, and you actually organize a stand-up show. Yeah. That we were able to showcase our art because, and you know what, I appreciate that. Because it's easy as an actor or a model to pull up on their phone, hey, this is what I've been in. This is my IBMD,
Yeah.
whatever the acronym list is. Or these are some of my modeling photos. As stand-up, yeah, you can see a clip, but they were actually able to see us perform live and do what we enjoy doing the most.
Yeah.
And that was a great opportunity. I just wanted to personally thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, that's what it's for.
And there's something we haven't touched on yet as far as the industry networking. There's also people you meet there that aren't just actors or performing. I met some great videographers.
Mm-hmm.
There's people with behind the scenes skills that are looking to branch out to, graphic designers. So if you're interested in anything, it's a phenomenal place to start.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's in the works. I've been meaning to reach out to the graphic designers in the group and ask them to draw up a better logo for Payne.
Okay.
I mean, I just made it myself on like word art or something.
No, we all got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I'm no graphic designer.
This is a do-it-yourself operation. By the way, we have T-shirts for sale. Get you some merch. The link is up on the Facebook page. If you're interested, we have gray, purple, various blues, and face masks.
Face masks?
Yeah, face masks.
Ooh.
You got to adapt with the times.
Yeah.
My face mask, it shipped out the other day, so by next week I should have it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And what better advertising is that?
Yeah, honestly.
Walking billboard.
That's the first thing you look at, too.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to place stickers up, everything I can do to get this out there, because this is my baby.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it on my own. It's all my grind. So I'm going with what I know.
Hey,
Feet to the pavement.
I understand, for sure.
Now, we spoke a little bit before the show. You said you have a exclusive announcement.
I do.
Folks, you've heard it here first on the Inquisitive Minds podcast. We have an exclusive announcement. Take it away.
That's right. So Payne was kind of in phase 1 this whole time. And phase 1 was just sort of building the connections I need and the base of people. But I realized a while ago that it's just entertainers, which is great and everything, but I want to branch out. You can't entertain, you can't perform if you don't have an audience to perform to.
It's very true.
So I've been meaning to reach out to like the average Pittsburgh citizen and kind of get them involved in the group just so they can see what's out there and hear about the shows.
It's great exposure for the art community.
Yeah. So that's been the plan. And I've been thinking about how to kind of do that. And I had plans in mind before this whole quarantine. But, COVID rolled around and just sort of, threw all my plans out the window.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to figure out what to do this entire time. And, there's no denying all the entertainment industries were hurting. I mean, most of our venues were closed for a while because a lot of us perform at bars and things like that. The film industry isn't filming. It just got back on its feet. So,
The film industry it was reduced to TikTok.
Yeah, pretty much. So I know a lot of Pittsburgh is hurting right now. So I want to launch an initiative called Payne Gives Back.
Payne Gives Back.
Yes. And we're going to do a whole bunch of small projects around the city. So, if anybody has ideas, just small things that need done, maybe like a park cleanup or, anything like that, they're welcome to reach out.
Now, do you have an email address, or what's the best way to reach out to you?
The best way is definitely via the Facebook group.
That's the Pennsylvania Entertainment Industry Network Facebook group.
Pittsburgh Entertainment, actually.
I've said it in my head on the car ride here, Pittsburgh, about 50 times, and I knew I was going to fuck it up. It's the Pittsburgh Entertainment Industry Networking Facebook group.
Yes.
Check that out. It's called Payne Gives Back. She's looking for ideas. If you want to reach out to the podcast, by all means, I would send it on the information to her. And I've told you as well, if you have a project where you need some volunteer work, let me know.
Sounds good.
I have no problem being there.
There is also an email if people want to reach out. It's pein.pgh@gmail.com. So if they have an idea, they're welcome to reach out there. But the very exclusive announcement that I've got for you
Oh, boy.
here,
I'm
here's the
excited
big one.
now.
So what I wanted to do was sort of a restaurant giveaway. And the idea was to give everybody a free shot, but also to draw in business for the restaurant that's helping me out. So I partnered with Antonio's Pizzeria in Brookline.
Okay.
And the promotion is going to start on August 15th.
Okay.
Everybody gets one free entry. You just have to call the restaurant or show up or whatever. You get one free entry.
With when you place an order?
No, just one in general.
Just call or show up to enter. No purchase necessary.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody gets one entry like that.
And you said this is Anthony's Pizzeria?
Antonio's Pizzeria.
Antonio's Pizzeria
Yes,
in Brookline. Okay.
Yeah. There will be details on the page and everything, and I'll send you a link that you can put on the podcast.
I'll share it up there.
Too. But so everybody gets one free entry like that, and then every purchase that's over $5 total gets you one more entry. And on September 15th, we're going to raffle away 5 $20 gift cards. So,
now, let's rewind for a second.
Sure.
Pretend you didn't say what you were going to raffle away.
Oh, okay.
Because I've always wanted to say this phrase. Let's tell the people what they'll win.
Well, if the people are lucky, they'll win one of 5 $20 gift cards.
And that's to the restaurant?
To Antonio's.
To Antonio's.
Yes. And
okay.
So right now, this is all being funded out of my pocket.
Respect.
Thanks. But I have some ideas in the works for moneymakers, and the goal's not to drain the group of resources or anything, but it'll be, cheap things for them that put a little bit of cash towards these projects.
Well, as an example, I was at one of your events, and you guys have raffles. There's ways that we generate money, and you generate money for the group that doesn't necessarily take advantage of someone, and that's what I like. It's like honest funding.
Yeah, and that's actually, speaking of raffles, that's something I have in the works. A fire hall in my hometown does it. They use SquareSite to raffle off items.
I will say this right now. So you can hold me to it.
Oh.
When there is a raffle, one of the things they can win will be a basic detail from me.
Oh.
So
okay.
You can throw that in there, and hopefully that generates someone entering. Yeah.
Do you want to mention to the listeners that you're starting this?
Oh, everyone that's been paying attention. We're about 2 weeks away now from opening Tenacious Detail. Just a detail
awesome name.
I'll be doing. I feel like I look like the combination of both members, so I went with that. And basic story. I started out at a car wash, and last year and a half, I've been the detail man for Audi. I've been working with foreign and luxury cars, and if I can do it for them, why can't I do it for myself? You want your car done right, come to me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, one of those will be entered in, so you can enter her raffle when it comes up. There'll be more information, and I'll share it on the Inquisitive Minds podcast page. One of the things you can win is a basic detail from Tenacious Detail.
Well, that's really awesome. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anything I can do to give back, as I can.
Yeah.
And that's something I can do to try and help.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to something more akin to what I normally talk about on here. You mentioned witchcraft.
I did.
Specifically, you said you were a baby witch.
Yeah.
And before I even want an explanation to that, can you tell me a little bit more about your specific brand of witchcraft and how you come to find it?
I kind of can't because I haven't totally found it yet.
Okay. Can you tell me about the journey you're on towards witchcraft?
So basically, I tried for years to be a good Christian, and I did the church thing, and I did the Bible thing, and I just couldn't vibe with it.
Okay.
I mean, I gave it my best shot and everything, but it just seemed sort of like, cosmically, like, okay, God has this plan for you. So everything good that happens is because of him, but everything bad that happens is also because he decided that, you needed it for, like, character development and whatever. And, some people can, like, be good with that.
It's a bit of a paradox if you have free will, yet at the same time God has a plan.
Yeah.
And it's very complex.
Yeah, and there was just a lot about it that I couldn't quite wrap my head around. And then, I tried other things. I was Messianic Jewish briefly.
Oh, really?
I was, yeah.
Okay, how did that go?
Well, I did the whole, Shabbat and all that stuff.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm way off. And I mean, no offense to the Jewish community. Mm-hmm. Is that a religion where, like, women are more docile and like... I don't want to say secondhand citizens, but the gender roles, like.
Yeah. Well, I think probably in like extreme circles,
okay.
Yes, but extreme Christianity is like that too.
That's very true.
I mean, it's hard to like apply that as a blanket statement. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's very fair.
The people that I was learning from weren't like that.
Okay.
But I'm sure some groups were. But
that was the first thought that came to mind. And I just was curious because I don't think that would have been a good mold for you. I don't see someone telling you to, look, you go be obedient in the corner. I don't see that working, and I wondered if that was the reason. Nope, that's not going to work.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, yes and no, because it is sort of just the whole idea that there's some man up there in the sky with this idea for me of how I should live my life and this whole plan that's going to happen to me no matter what I do, but somehow I still have free will. It couldn't click for me. It just wasn't, I couldn't vibe with it.
I can understand that.
And then I started looking into witchcraft. Just like I watched the TV show Supernatural.
Okay.
And, like Lucifer and all that stuff, and all the TV shows I watch, like Mention It, whatever, like the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is like a big one that's,
Okay.
So I kind of thought, you know what, maybe I'll give it a shot, and I actually really like it because witchcraft, it's about sort of you find your power from you and the forces around you, nature, and it's all about your choice, your deity that you choose to pray to. First of all, you choose.
Now, where does one go to pursue this type of information?
Google, mostly.
Okay. Okay, the Church of Google.
Yeah,
I dig it.
Yeah, so I went to Google and holy Google, yeah. And
if we look on the sermon today, search for results, so page 4.
There is a good blog that I follow, Patheos. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's Patheos.
Okay.
And John Beckett or something writes it. I don't pay too much attention to who writes it, but I like the content.
Now, most people, when they hear witchcraft, they automatically get iconography of the green face and the hair and the cauldron, Eye of Newt and all that, and even more so beyond that. Even when you get to a realistic witch, it's looked as a woman, causing mischief and spells and whatnot.
Yeah.
You want to dispel some of those rumors,
yeah.
or tell the truth and be like, yeah, we're badass. We'll eat your kids.
I mean, both of those statements are right.
Okay, you heard it here, folks. The satanic panic died down in the 90s. It is back.
It really is. It's just your choice. Like, witchcraft just says, like, there is no grand plan. There's fate and there's destiny. And
I'm just going to... she's really painting it as we could eat your kids. Okay. So, all right.
I mean, I'm sure that they could. I'm sure there's dark magic out there and stuff. I don't really even want to look into that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm still learning. But that's not really something I want to play with.
I have, obviously, this show, I have quite a fascination with all those topics.
Yeah.
Especially like dark magic. Not that I want to practice it, but it's something I'd like to learn more about.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people I talk to that are into witchcraft, and I'll even expand it over into like Wiccan and things like that, are either new or not head first in, if that makes sense. Yeah. I need someone out there to tell me or introduce me to someone who is like talking about casting spells, talking about doing like prayer seances and things like that. I want someone to approach me that feels like they have power that can threaten me. I'd really and not even like I dare you, but just like I want to have that conversation with someone whose wavelength is there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I follow Hecate. That's my goddess.
Okay. I have now. That's interesting because I have no knowledge of her or it. Could you explain what Hecate is a little bit?
So she is called the triple goddess.
Okay.
And, basically, she's kind of considered to be like the most powerful, and she is a dark goddess.
Now, goddess of over controlling, what is her ideology?
Okay. Well, so she has like a bunch of things that she I guess is the goddess of, but basically Hecate is kind of about like balance, sort of.
Okay.
She's, you have to embrace your darkness to be able to like basically she says there's no darkness without light. There's no light
so
without
like a
darkness.
yin and a yang
kind of, yeah,
type of situation. I can embrace that. I've had similar discussions about that, and it's kind of true.
Yeah.
Like if you just ignore something, it's going to manifest, and one day you might not be able to understand or control yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And so when I say I'm a baby witch, I mean I'm just learning, and I pray to Hecate and everything. I have a spell book, and there's a prayer in there that I say to her.
A spell book. Does that mean there's also things in there that you could cast to obtain certain things or change the outcome of certain things?
Yeah. So I have actually done one. There's like a wish ritual that you can do. You burn bay leaves over a white candle. And, you write your wish on the leaf, and the more it crackles, the more it is likely to come true. And you gotta understand, I'm not like some crazy person. I went into this thinking like, no way.
You are before you go on, you are in a safe space. Because if you are, that is fine here.
Well, so, I went into this rationally, though. I was like, I'm giving this a shot. I'm testing it out. We'll see what happens. So I had a friend at the time whose grandmother was in really poor health, and he didn't think she was even going to make it through the night. And that's why I did the ritual when I did it.
Through the night?
Yeah. And
okay, she was on death's door.
Yeah, that was a couple of months ago, actually. And so I wrote on my leaf, health for his grandma. And I burned the leaf, and it crackled and went up so fast that I dropped it, actually, because it scared me how fast it went. And I was like, okay, well, that's proof, there's no way this is going to happen. Like, obviously, his grandma,
she's going to die.
Well, she's still alive now.
Okay.
Yeah, like months later. So,
well, I would call that a success.
Yeah.
I would call that fairly powerful, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I'm not, like, saying that is the reason.
I'm not saying it saved her, but
yeah.
I'm not saying it didn't either.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all have to believe in something, and we're never going to know what's right until
at this
we
point,
die,
as long as it makes you a more positive person or gives you a
Exactly.
better outlook, I don't care what you believe in.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to believe whatever makes you become a better you.
That's how I feel, too. And that is basically what encouraged this branching out into witchcraft. It fills a hole for me because I could never worship and have a religion the way that was expected of me and the way that people wanted from me. But this way, it lets me be closer to the God that I chose, and I get to have the relationship that I want.
Nothing wrong with that.
So, like, normally, people do whole rituals and they have their altars and their incense and they say all these scripted words and whatever. I like to talk to Hecate when I'm in the car and there's a full moon.
So you're just out there doing crowd work with demons.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just, hey, what realm are you guys from, huh? Who do you haunt for a living? What do we got here?
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
Oh, third dimensioners, huh? Oh, we've all spent a year there one weekend. Okay, that's fascinating.
I mean, honestly.
That's very interesting. Also, part of this episode, we wanted to bring up the topic of mental health.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to let you go from there, and then we'll see where we can structure this.
Okay. Well, yeah, actually, they do kind of fit together. I've struggled with depression and anxiety, and I just recently found out PTSD my entire life. So, a lot of, like, branching into witchcraft, Christianity didn't fit, and, witchcraft does.
Yeah,
and
oh, yeah.
Now that I have that, it does help the depression, having something to rely on like that. But I, honestly, with mental illness and everything, it's so stigmatized. Just like witchcraft, you hear witch and you think, oh, that's bad. She's going to kill me in my sleep. You hear mental illness and you think, oh, that's bad. They're crazy. They can't function in society. Okay. I would go as far to say mental illness can help you function sometimes.
I can agree with that.
Honestly.
I can agree with that. I don't often talk about my struggles with mental health. Some of the people closer to me know. Mm-hmm. I was diagnosed recently in the process of getting my cannabis card.
Oh.
Some of my mental illnesses were diagnosed, and I have anxiety and depression. And not to take anybody's struggle away, I feel like a lot of times those are like a la carte, because we all get depressed and we all have anxiety.
Yeah.
And they also diagnosed me with severe PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And the struggles I have with that are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a lot of from my wife's passing.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many times where I'm driving and boom, she's right there in my arms dying again. And I don't talk about that. Mm-hmm. I don't go to therapy. I've tried it in the past. It's not for me.
Yeah. Well, therapy can do that. You have to be in a space where therapy is a viable option for you, and people don't want to talk about the fact that sometimes it's not.
Yeah. I've gotten to a place in my life where I'm able to cope with my struggles in a healthy manner. Mm-hmm. And that's been through trial and error.
Yeah.
I haven't been perfect, and there's plenty of options out there.
Yeah.
There's therapy, there's people that'll talk to you. But like I just mentioned, sometimes therapy is not always right for you. And we have to understand if someone's struggling, provide them with the opportunities to let them seek out the help, because pushing someone a lot of times has the reverse effect and can make it worse.
Oh, exactly.
Exponentially worse.
So I get panic attacks with my anxiety, and I had a friend this one time who also got panic attacks with his anxiety, and, talking on the phone can trigger it sometimes. Mm-hmm. So if I'm feeling especially anxious, I don't like to talk on the phone. He called me maybe 12 times in a row after I had told him, listen, I'm feeling anxious. I can't talk on the phone right now. And a lot of the times it's the people who want to pretend like they understand the most who are the pushiest and the most detrimental to it. Yeah,
that's true. That's very true. So, before we move on, I also just want to give out the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline for anybody out there teetering, struggling, maybe thinking about something on the edge. It is 1-800-273-8255. There's always people willing to listen, and you only lose when you give up.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Before we move on real quick, too, I just want to point out that a lot of the times, sometimes these things that you're feeling, you don't know that they're a mental illness. Mm-hmm. And until you talk to somebody and figure out that that's what's going on, it isn't going to get better.
Well, as much as it's out there, so many of us were still raised with the stigma of mental illness. I remember growing up, never wanting to admit anything was wrong. Mm-hmm. And my folks telling me, even if you talk to a doctor, you could say what you're going through, but you never say the word depressed.
Yeah.
Because once they write that on your file, then you're known as depressed. Growing up, that was drilled into my head. It was like, oh, man, these people, they say the word depressed, it's over for me.
Oh, yeah. And I always got the, grin and bear it.
Grin and bear it. And you would see, there's still instances of it now, the extreme versions of when mental illness is left unchecked. People downtown, screaming, losing their mind. But what we would just say those are crazy people, but we would never look at where they started.
Exactly.
Because no one wakes up and boom, that's them now.
Yeah.
There's a progression, and maybe they even tried and failed.
Yeah.
Don't stop trying.
Well, and you look at them too and you say, oh, they're crazy people. Oh, this is like their fault somehow. And nobody ever wants to look at them and say, oh man, that guy's sick. Like,
yeah.
And
these people need help.
A mental illness is just an illness. Last time I checked, your brain is part of your body.
You're not like, look at that guy with cancer over there.
Yeah.
Look at that guy with cancer.
Yeah, honestly.
He's fucking. Hey, let's go see the people with AIDS.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, you're having an asthma attack? Well, why don't you just, breathe?
This guy can't fucking breathe. What a joke.
Yeah.
You could probably breathe if you want to, asshole,
Yeah,
mooching off
really.
the government.
Honestly, why don't you just try thinking positive?
Yeah, I hate that, because I fight mine on a daily basis. And part of it's by forcing myself to think positive.
Yeah.
But when people tell me to do something naturally, I fight whatever it is they tell me. Even if it's good for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so confrontational. So when people just throw your issues to the wayside, it makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
And mental illness can be different things for different people. My anxiety, like that feeling when I'm overwhelmed, and it triggers usually a person's flight or fight response.
Exactly.
And most people, they got to get out of there. The issue I struggle with is that it triggers my flight or fight response, and I don't like to flight at all. So I get real confrontational. I've had to leave malls just because, and I'll remove myself.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm getting crazy.
Yeah.
I can
Well,
feel,
you feel it coming
when it's
on,
happening.
yeah.
I have to remove myself from situations, and there's been times where people that I'm with don't understand that.
Exactly.
They're like, why? I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll just do what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
You have to understand that everyone's journey is specific to themselves, and if they need to do something you don't understand with, questioning at the time they're doing it is not the right fucking choice.
Absolutely not.
That's one thing I don't like. It's being questioned when I'm obviously doing something with serious purpose.
Like, I've lived with this for 28 years. I think I know right now this is what I need to do.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely. Now, how does mental illness intertwine with you practicing witchcraft as well as being in the entertainment industry? Because I know they're all not mutually exclusive.
Yeah. So basically, I would credit the lifestyle that I'm living to my mental illnesses, actually.
Okay.
So I've had PTSD since I was 4 years old. I just didn't know it until I was 26, maybe. But my family always just thought I was weird.
Fair enough.
I mean, they're not wrong.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with weird.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with weird.
Well, so they just chalked it up to quirks. Okay, Marita likes to run around in the woods. So it's normal that at 8 years old, she's reading survival guides just in case something weird would happen out there.
Right on. Start them young.
So, but that's the PTSD and the hypervigilance and that need to be prepared for any possible scenario.
Okay.
And that has actually helped me a lot in the entertainment industry with Payne and with my work as an assistant director. Assistant directors especially. If they're doing their job right, you won't know that they're doing their job.
Which is unfortunate, isn't it? Like, that's so terrible.
Yeah.
If she's great at it, you'll never know she did it.
Basically. So their job is kind of to keep the director and the talent separate.
You're like an immune system. As long as it's working great, you'll never think about it.
Yeah, exactly. So my job's to keep the director and the talent separate and let them focus on the creative side of things.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So you keep the actors away from the director?
No. To keep them separate from the rest of the crew.
Oh,
Yeah.
from the grips and all,
Yeah.
what have you.
Well, so I mostly do independent films, so it's usually small sets.
Okay.
So we don't really have a full-size crew or whatever. But basically, when they're setting up shots and all that stuff, it's my job to make sure we're running on schedule and to anticipate any problem that could possibly happen on a set.
That's always easy to do.
Yeah. Which is what I do just as a habit, honestly, because of the PTSD.
Okay.
And it has made me so good at that job. We had a situation on the one film. We had this guy in this giant teddy bear mascot costume, and he twisted his ankle.
Oh.
And we're like, oh no. I had a first aid kit in my car because why wouldn't I? I have PTSD. So, I'm anticipating already every possible scenario. So, of course, I carry a first aid kit with me, We were lucky enough that one of the moms on set was actually an EMT. So
she fixed between your kit and her, you guys fixed his ankle up.
Yeah, well, I think I actually wrapped it, but she supervised like illegal.
All those fat cat EMTs. Yeah. That's just like them in their ivory towers, riding around in gold-plated ambulances.
Well, this has been a while, but I'm pretty sure that's how it played out, and I think that was my choice for the legal issues.
Oh, okay.
Because she was just supposed to be there as the mom, and
we'll give her an out. Yeah. We'll give her an out. All right, that's fascinating. That's interesting. It's good to know how it's beneficial.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of people that, and I don't want to blanket statement too much here, but a lot of people that are creative artists or work in the industry do that because whatever issues they struggle with, they're able to combat it with whatever performance or creating, or it benefits the way they work. And it's a beautiful thing, and it just shows it takes all kinds to make the world. Yeah,
I mean, it honestly does. And they say, you can't create without, pain. You can't write without living,
Yeah, that's what they say.
You have to be able to know pain to write it or portray it. So I don't think it's that unusual, really, that, people in the entertainment industries have these issues. And it's just the world we're living in now compared to, our grandfathers' generations. We can talk about it now.
Yes.
We have that freedom and that freedom to express it. So
I feel like with social media and the way the world works, it's almost to a point where there's issues like that would have stayed behind the scenes years ago, almost in old Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Are forced to come to the surface now because there's so much exposure.
Yeah.
There's so much light shown into a person's day-to-day life that it's easier to just be honest and say, look, I'm dealing with mental issues, than to be like, oh, he's just an artist.
Yeah.
He's just an eclectic artist.
Exactly.
Now, have you used your witchcraft to either land some type of role or job in the entertainment industry?
Well, so I started in the entertainment industry before I started into witchcraft. So I'm 3 months into witchcraft.
So when you make it to Hollywood, you'll be ready for the cabal already.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm all set. But no, I haven't. I just feel like I don't know enough about it yet, and I want to kind of I just found this goddess and I'm just learning how to worship her the way that I'm supposed to and the way she deserves. I don't want to be showing up at her doorstep asking hey, can you give me all this cool stuff? I'll appreciate you later,
Hey,
promise.
Look, we can talk about worship.
Yeah.
But I need a gig right now.
Yeah.
Times are kind of tough.
I know I hate when somebody drops into my inbox and they're like, hey, what's up? So I know I don't know you, but do all this stuff for me. And then, I'll hit you up once in a while.
People are amazing with what they'll come in your inbox and request.
Right?
Just and outrageous things. What bothers me is that everybody's such a comedian. Everybody thinks they're hilarious.
Yeah.
And, hey, I might not be hilarious either, but I'm telling you, the same dad joke in my inbox over and over again. Or the same, it gets old. It's a very self-centered industry.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see in the Pittsburgh scene that at least the community's growing and starting to be more welcoming to one another and to outsiders. Because I've been in your environment and it's very welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask questions, you can learn, people are willing to teach you. And people are willing to help you.
Yeah.
Because we can all grow together.
And that's what we're trying to foster with Payne. When I first showed up on the scene, I just didn't like, how hard it was to find these mixers, even to hear about them, because, you had to like know somebody or be in one of the groups or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was still like an industry from 20 years ago.
Yeah. And, I wanted to change it, so I did.
I love it.
Yeah.
I can't say how much I love that. If you want to do something, do it. If you want to change something, do it.
Yeah. Well, there's so much potential here. M. Night Shyamalan, actually, believe it or not.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Basically, I'm not.
That's the twist. That's the twist at the end. I can't pronounce his name.
Hey, me either. I don't think
no one saw that coming.
But so he's a big proponent of professional film in the state of Pennsylvania, but especially in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
I don't know if you've heard of PAFIA.
I have not heard of PAFIA.
It's Pennsylvania Film Industry Association. I'm a member of their organization,
okay.
So I get the newsletters and all that stuff. But M. Night Shyamalan is arguing, like, he's taking it to the Senate and everything to get a tax credit cap removed here.
Okay.
He says that if Pittsburgh would remove that cap, that Pittsburgh would be the next Hollywood.
Well, I was watching a documentary years ago about the filming of The Silence of the Lambs, because part of it was filmed in Pittsburgh, and they were just noting on how Pittsburgh has the quality of being able to look like any city, almost, if they wanted to. You know, and there's been a lot of big films through here.
Yeah.
Some of the Batman movies, Inspector Gadget. It was that Russell Crowe flick, 3 days. Or the next 3 days, or escape. Some bullshit about escaping out of Allegheny County Jail. If you've ever been there, it's hard to escape. I've been there. I've thought about it. There's a reasonable way, but it's not worth it unless you're getting sentenced big.
I mean, I feel you.
So let me ask you: do you have any projects that you have? Films that you have worked on that you want to plug? You said you mentioned Netflix and some other things.
Oh, well, yeah. So I put in a couple of days on the Jason Momoa film that just shot here, Sweet Girl. They did a helicopter chase scene downtown, and I got to be a PA for a couple days for that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So. That was cool and everything. My job was basically just to tell people, sorry, you can't use this sidewalk. We're filming here. But
that sounds like a great gig.
Yeah.
I would be perfect for that.
Well, it would have been nice.
Can't use this sidewalk, folks.
I mean, it was about 14 hours in freezing cold weather, and we did it 2 nights in a row. But
was that at the Pirates Stadium?
Yeah, the bridges over there.
Okay, yeah, I remember you posting about that.
Yeah, so, So there was that. I missed being on set, so I was briefly an extra on the Kristen Stewart film that filmed here.
She's a real energetic actress.
I can't remember the name of it.
She really puts her all into everything she performs with.
Oh, I walked down that street like you wouldn't believe.
Now, before I wrap this up a little bit,
sure.
Juicy gossip for the or not even gossip. That's the wrong way
spill
to put
that
it.
tea,
I don't
please.
know. I don't have any tea to spill. But just like the Entertainment Tonight section where I fangirl out. Have you met any famous actors?
Have I met any famous actors? Yes, actually. So the big film that I worked on, the Amazon film, I was the actor's assistant.
And what was the title of that?
That one's called I'm Your Woman.
I'm Your Woman, okay.
It comes out hopefully in 2021. It's in post right now. So Rachel Brosnahan was on it. She stars in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Okay.
So that's, for the people that don't know, that's an Amazon series that I think they're 4 seasons in, maybe 5, but they've won awards and all that stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was really cool. She was super sweet. She follows this Instagram page called The Blue Boys, and it's these 2 pit bulls in pajamas and stuff.
That's cute. My producer Todd has a bulldog, and he's getting married next week, and he bought it a little T-shirt with a tuxedo on the front of it. Yeah, it's the cutest little thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So she was on it. She starred, and then the next actress was Marsha Stephanie Blake.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, she was third billed, actually. The second billed cast is Arinze Kene. He is a London theater actor, and London theater is like Hollywood is to movies. That's like the big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the people that I worked with on the set were saying like Arinze is going to be the next big thing here, like the next big movie star, and I could see it. He's incredible and also super fine. Now that I'm not working with him, I can say that.
Oh, now we are spilling tea. Oh,
Oh
boy.
my God, it was so bad.
Great timing.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay, and what was his name again?
Arinze Kene.
Arinze Kene?
Yeah.
Hey, Arinze Kene, if you're out there, holla!
Yeah. Well, so working with him, the day they made me his assistant, I was like, oh no, I'm going to do something stupid. He's too attractive. Like, I can't be around that attractive a man for that long and not do something dumb. I know it. I didn't.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. It was a different actor that I did the dumb thing with.
Now that you said that, I'm curious.
Yeah. So it was, he's an actor from Orange is the New Black, which Marsha Stephanie Blake actually acted on that too. They had opposing scenes though, so I guess they never met.
Who was the actor, if you don't mind?
Honestly, I think I repressed his name at this point, but he played Officer Donuts. So the one that like has the thing going with Pennsatucky. And
okay. I know which one you're talking about. All right.
And I was so excited to meet him because I loved his character. And I met him. I was like, okay, all right, I can be cool, no problem. And they were like, Marita, go tell him that the producer needs this or whatever. And I was like, okay. So I went over to his trailer and I knocked on the door. He's like, come in. And I'm opening the door. Meanwhile, this is a 70s period piece.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen him in his costume yet. And I'm opening the door and I'm, oh, hey, I just wanted to let you know Bart said, and he was standing there and I stopped in the middle of my sentence and my brain, everything just shut off. My brain quit working and I was just staring at him and he kind of like raised an eyebrow and I realized what I was doing and I was just like, anyway, Bart says that, and whatever. He laughed. He knew exactly what happened, and he was flattered,
Oh, that's nice.
But I walked away. I was just like, oh, my God. I can't believe it. And with him, too, I always suspected it would be Arinze, but no. But that was the only one, so I was like, okay, at least I got it out of the way with the guy that's only here for a couple of days rather than, being awkward for the entire shoot.
I was a cab driver for a couple of years, and I had Danny Bonaducci in the backseat.
Oh.
But that's as far as that goes.
Well,
Very short ride.
It still counts, right?
Sounded exactly the way he sounds.
Yeah.
If that's anything for you. So tell me, where can the people find you? You want to plug your networking group as well as maybe social media accounts?
Sure. So Payne is on Facebook. It's you just search Pittsburgh Entertainment Industry Networking or probably PEIN. You could just search that. Or anything that you search like Pittsburgh filmmaking, Pittsburgh movies, whatever, Payne is somewhere in that list. So you just have to know what you're looking for and you'll find it.
Okay.
But it's not really on Instagram yet. I was thinking about switching, branching out to Instagram and Twitter and everything, but I'm actually really bad at Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. I am like an old man. I
Yeah.
can't get it. I don't. Whatever.
Well,
I'll hire somebody one day.
They all just seem like downgraded Facebook to me. Like,
from what I understand, Twitter is popping. Twitter's nuts. I just can't figure it out.
Well, it just seems like status updates that you talk to each other with. I'm like, what's the point? I can do that on Facebook. Like, I don't get it.
I don't get it myself, but that's why I'm not successful with it either.
That's
what about
here.
Facebook links? You're an actress, but also behind the scenes. Where can they find you to potentially hook up to maybe find some work with you?
Oh, well, so I'm on Facebook, just Marita Sarver, my name. I do have an acting page on there.
Okay.
So Marita Sarver -actress.
And you have examples of your work on there, maybe a film reel or headshots?
Well, since I am so new to this, and when Corona hit in the middle of all of this. I have a couple of headshots up on there, but literally everything else I've done.
I still have your business card.
Do you?
Where you have you standing there in jeans and then like three other headshots of you. So yeah, you know what? We're all new to stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we're learning as we growing, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
I also want to say, tune in next week, next episode, where it's Brittany Alexis is the guest.
I love her.
She's a great guest, great person, and we start our Mysterious People series, and we're talking about the man from Tarot. It was already pre-recorded because Todd's getting married next week. Again, another congratulations to him. You can find us at facebook.com/Inquisitive Minds. We are also everywhere you listen to podcasts: Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Stitcher, whatever it is. Look us up. Listen. You like us? Leave a review. If not, don't. I'm Johnny Smith. You can catch me at facebook.com/TunaCanJohn. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah.
And I hope you tune in next week.
Sounds good.